This is you. There's your mom, and hers before that. Keep scrolling back through the family tree. Soon you'll zoom past corsets, plague doctors, knights in rusty armor, stone tools, and eventually land on some guy crouched in the mud, gnawing on a grub, just trying to make it to nightfall without becoming someone else's lunch. That's your ancestor. No name, no sandals, no calendar, and absolutely no clue that you, a distant relative with a phone addiction, a coffee habit, and strong opinions about Wi-Fi speed, would ever exist. But here's the catch. If even one of the thousands of people in your bloodline had slipped at the wrong second, gotten mauled by something with too many teeth, starved during a bad winter, or simply failed to find a mate before disaster struck, you wouldn't be standing here reading this. You're not special exactly. You're the result of an absurd, unbroken chain of near misses and stubborn DNA that refused to quit. So let's walk through some of the deadliest stretches in human history and see just how close that chain came to snapping. From rough but survivable to, you might want to write a will before you can even talk. Let's dive in. Number 5, the Ice Age. About 20,000 years back, during the last glacial maximum, the planet was straight up brutal. Glaciers up to 2 miles thick buried massive stretches of North America, Europe, and Asia under permanent ice. Global temperatures dropped roughly 10 degrees Fahrenheit, turning huge swaths of the world into a frozen, food-scarce battlefield. If you were alive then, your daily to-do list looked something like avoid frostbite, hunt mammoths the size of school buses, and stay far away from predators like the cave lion, one of the largest wildcats to ever stalk the earth. Home was a hut built from mammoth bones or a cramped cave shared with dozens of relatives you probably didn't even like. Clothing meant a stitched animal hide held together with hand-carved bone needles. Hungry? Hope you're ready to face down a 6-ton animal armed with nothing more than a sharpened stick and pure desperation. And if hunger or a hungry predator didn't get you, a small cut gone septic probably would. There were no antibiotics, no hospitals, no painkillers, just chewed herbs, mystery poultices, and a lot of hoping for the best. And yet, against constant odds, early humans pushed forward, inventing tools, mastering fire, and even creating breathtaking cave art like the paintings found at Lascaux. Number 4, the start of farming. Around 10,000 years ago, someone, probably exhausted from chasing dinner across an entire continent, had a genius idea. Why keep wandering after animals when you could plant food and let it come to you instead? Welcome to the dawn of agriculture, the moment humanity accidentally made life both more stable and somehow significantly worse. Early farmers gave up the nomadic hunting lifestyle in favor of permanent villages, growing crops like wheat, barley, and lentils. Smart move in theory. In practice, it came bundled with a brand new set of horrors. Living shoulder to shoulder with dozens or hundreds of other people meant diseases now had an easy highway to spread along. Diets got worse, not better. Less protein, more deficiencies, and teeth that rotted right out of people's skulls from the new grain-heavy diet. And don't even get started on crop failure. One drought, one locust swarm, one unexpected flood, and an entire village could starve while staring helplessly at an empty sky. Archaeologists digging up skeletons from this era still find the evidence written into the bones. Malnutrition, anemia, and dental disasters that would make any modern dentist faint on the spot. Number 3, the Mongol conquest. If you were alive in the 13th century and spotted a cloud of dust rising on the horizon, you had maybe 3 minutes to panic before your entire city was reduced to rubble. Under Genghis Khan, a ruler who treated mercy as something closer to a rumor than a strategy, the Mongols built the largest connected land empire the world has ever seen, sweeping across Asia and deep into Eastern Europe. Their playbook was brutally simple: strike fast, hit hard, and leave nothing standing behind you. Entire cities were erased from maps. Populations were slaughtered wholesale, and survivors, if any were spared, were sometimes forced to march ahead as human shields in the next siege. Mongol horse archers could hit a target from hundreds of yards away while riding at a full gallop, essentially inventing mobile warfare centuries before anyone had even dreamed up a tank. Historians estimate these invasions wiped out somewhere close to 10% of the entire global population, back when the global population was already razor-thin to begin with. Number 2. The Black Death. In 1347, Europe received an unwelcome and uninvited delivery from Central Asia, courtesy of some extremely well-traveled fleas, and from that point on, everything went downhill fast. The plague, caused by a vicious bacterium, tore through cities and villages like a biological wildfire, spreading via rats, fleas, and a population that had essentially no concept of hygiene whatsoever. Catching it could be as simple as a handshake, a shared drinking cup, or just breathing the same stale air as someone already infected. Symptoms were horrifying and fast-moving. Swollen, blackened lymph nodes, raging fever, internal bleeding, and death, often within a matter of days. By the time it finally burned itself out, somewhere between 30 and 60% of Europe's entire population had been wiped from existence in just a handful of years. Whole villages were abandoned overnight, economies collapsed under the weight of so much loss, and doctors wandered the streets in eerie beaked masks stuffed with flowers and herbs, genuinely convinced that smelling pleasant might somehow keep the plague at bay. Number 1. The Toba Supervolcano eruption. Roughly 74,000 years ago, a colossal volcano named Toba erupted with enough force to nearly erase the entire human species from the planet. The blast hurled more than 670 cubic miles of ash and debris into the atmosphere, enough material to bury an area the size of the entire continental United States. What followed was a volcanic winter so severe that sunlight was blocked for an estimated 6 to 10 years straight. Global temperatures crashed by as much as 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Plants withered and died, animals starved by the millions, and ecosystems collapsed across every continent. For early humans, already scraping by on the edge of survival, this was nothing short of apocalyptic. Food supplies vanished entirely. Lush landscapes turned into frozen, lifeless deserts. Rivers dried up. Forests became silent graveyards. It's estimated that the entire human population shrank to fewer than 3,000 individuals. A genetic bottleneck so razor-thin that essentially everyone alive on Earth today can trace their lineage back to that tiny handful of survivors. No crops, no herds, no sunlight, and absolutely no margin for error. Try to picture living your entire life in cold and darkness, never knowing if today might be the last day anyone ever sees the sun again. And yet somehow, against every conceivable odd, a small group of stubborn, desperate humans managed to hold on and endure. You exist today because none of them gave up when everything around them was actively falling apart. Thanks for watching, and remember, you are walking, breathing proof of every single ancestor who fought tooth and nail just to get you here. So go ahead and hit subscribe before natural selection decides it's finally your turn.